Final Fantasy Timeline Theory Part 4 Evolution. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Carl Jung. The world of Final Fantasy. In this timeline, I will discuss Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, and Final Fantasy 9. True Moon. Final Fantasy 3. In the merged world of Planet R, the flood of light was caused by the ancients creating an advanced society. One of them is the scientist Owen, who is the son of Seymour and Genova. In time, the ancient civilization is ruined after the flood of darkness. An earthquake caused their settlement to rise up, becoming part of the floating continent. The Tower of Owen is constructed to keep the land afloat. Owen puts himself and his son Desk into a deep sleep. Desk would be forcibly awakened when the tower was threatened. Former student of Magus Noah, Zained, was given the power of mortality and didn't want to die, so he sought to freeze time by creating a flood of darkness. He constructed a crystal tower to drain the earth and water or light crystals and cause the great earthquake. He remained on the surface world with time frozen and the world flooded. Weary of the floating continent, he sends monsters to destroy them, namely Medusa to the Tower of Owen and Hine. The Warriors of Light are chosen by the Wind Crystal to restore balance. During their quest, they cross paths with Sorcerer Hine. He is summoned from the void by Zained to convert the Elder Tree or Guardian Tree into the floating fortress and enslave the people of Castle Argus. The warriors had to defeat a fiend named Daemon before they defeated Hine. They venture to the surface world to restore the water and earth crystals while also looking for a way to enter the crystal tower to access Eureka in order to defeat Zained. With help from Doga and Unme, they are able to enter the land of Eureka. The two sages had to be killed in order to gain access. The warriors obtain the summons Odin, Bahamut, and Leviathan and enter a portal. Zain confronts them but is defeated. However, his actions led to the manifestation of the Cloud of Darkness, who wants to return everything to nothingness. The Light Warriors enter the Dark World and free the Dark Warriors by slaying the 4 guardians of the Dark Crystals. Fighting the Cloud again, the Dark Warriors sacrifice themselves to weaken the Cloud. Defeated by the Warriors of Light, Zained and the Cloud return to the Rift. In the end, a constant battle of light and darkness consumed the world. Yama fled to the 5th planet. When Owen awoke, the world was in ruin, but the 8 crystals, his parents, and Phoenix survived. He used the planet as a vessel to sail the cosmos like his mother did long ago. His vessel was named True Moon, and he would be called the Creator. Phoenix creates new people to help man his vessel, and they are called Manans. With the help of his love Phoenix, who has access to the crystal world, drawing on the knowledge of his parents and the ancient library, he creates crystals capable of recording history and memories like the Spears of Spira, but they can also be manipulated to perform other tasks, such as sealing off or accessing people and places. He sends them to other worlds, and he gives 8 to Yama of the 5th planet of Final Fantasy II and 8 to the blue planet of Final Fantasy IV to study evolution. After some time, he searches for his crystals to gather the data collected to determine the successes and failures of his experiment. Recording Evolution, Final Fantasy IV. Hadeline created the Blue Planet with no Mother Crystal, with the hopes that World B's and World A's memories wouldn't influence their evolution. Her intentions were undermined with the introduction of Owen's crystals and the rebirth of summons by Yami. The people of the 5th planet see that the humans of the Blue Planet are not as advanced as them. They decide to construct an artificial moon to live on and name it Red Moon and call themselves Lunarians. The 2 crystals possessing the powers of Meteor and Holy are used to create the powers of white and black magic that only Pacific people can use, mages and summoners of the New Mysidia. Even with the passage of much time, these humans are slow to advance in their way of life. Eludia wants the Lunarians and humans to coexist, but she fears there is too much of a power difference between them. One of her people, Zemus, realizes this, and he intends on destroying the humans so they can inhabit the earth once again. He and other radical Lunarians use the magical powers to create the Giant of Babel. The son of Eludia and Yama, Fuyulsa, is able to seal him and the giant away using the 16 crystals, and 8 are sent to the Blue Planet. Eludia puts her people into a long sleep except for the one who was given the task of teaching magic and airship technology to the humans, her other son, Kaluya. Fuyulsa watches over the Lunarians. Kaluuya travels to the planet with Richard and Kane using the Lunar Rail spaceship. He has two sons. He has two sons with a human woman, and they are named Golbez and Sissel, and instructs Richard to begin a new line of dragoons. On the blue planet, the 4 light crystals of Owen are infused with the elements fire, water, wind, and earth, and are kept in the overworld. 4 of the dark crystals of Owen are sent to the underworld. Keeping the 8 separate will seal the Giant of Babel. Yami watches over the people of this planet, and the summons are reborn. Bahamut is appointed the king of Eidolons by Yami. He finds his queen within Ashura. Yami and others meet Kaluuya. He provides them with the place to settle, the village of the mist. He asks for Yami's help in raising the village of summoners, and she agrees. Some humans even become new summons and freely move between humanoid and beast forms and are turned Eidolons. Titan falls in love with the human, and they have Rydia. Angered and jealous, Yami puts a curse on the Eidolons. If the summoner dies, so does the Eidolon, and vice versa. Titan becomes Rydia's Eidolon, while Dragon becomes her mother's. Presently, Sissel and Kane, not knowing their origins, are knights for a king who tasks them with destroying the summoner village of Mysidia. Sissel successfully fights his inner dark side and becomes a paladin, while Kane continues to cause destruction. Sissel realizes that Kane is possessed by Golbez, who is under the mind control of Zemus. Kane and Golbez are able to gather the 8 crystals and summon the Giant of Babel. Summoning the lunar realm from the sea near Mysidia, the heroes venture to the moon to confront Zemus. After Zemus is defeated by Sissel and allies, another threat from Owen, the creator, looms. He wants his crystals back, all 16 of them, and sends his people to retrieve them. A girl who takes control over the Eidolons is sent to the blue planet and the second moon. She successfully destroys the moon crystals. The crew confront the girl, who summons many enemies from games past. Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And they come from the other crystals that Owen had previously collected. However, the Maenads turn on him and summon Meteor against him, leading to his demise. The true moon departs carrying Seymour Genova / Unielska with it, and Phoenix stays behind. Summons remain with the people of this planet, and Yami remains to ensure that only summoners can summon. She also lifts the curse and mentors the summoners. Golbez returns to the second moon to see if the Lunarians can survive without the crystals. The red moon and blue planet decide to carry on separately. Merge of the Worlds, Final Fantasy IX. Yama and Yami send the 4 dark crystals back to the crystal world and use the 4 remaining light crystals to create world and moon crystals for the red moon and the blue planet, 1 crystal for each of their worlds and 1 for each of their moons. They renamed their worlds Gaia, which was once the blue planet, and Terra, which was once the red moon. However, Terra is much older, and eventually the crystal begins to die. To preserve their culture and history, Ullivert was constructed. Inside it holds the Gulag Stone, which is this out-of-this-world device that creates an anti-magic barrier for protection. The Gulag Stone is blue, red, and green, with a purple eye that is representative of cosmos, chaos, life, and the spirit, and was originally a machina made in spirit by Albed. The Terrans attempt to fuse with Gaia, but the fusion fails and Gaia is left in ruins. Yama and Yami prevented the fusion. Terra is absorbed into Gaia. Some of its settlements end up on Gaia's forgotten continent, but its moon remains in space, giving Gaia 2 moons. The Terrans, or Lunarians, summon Garland, or Chaos, from the void, who traps Yami and Yama there. He takes the Life Tree, which goes first on Terra, and then it is transported to Gaia. The tree helps Gaia recover by encasing Gaia's world crystal in mist power, but it takes thousands of years. During that time, Terrans rest, and Garland constructs genomes as vessels to harbor Terran souls for the next fusion attempt. Garland alters the Life Tree. When Gaians die, the lives are replaced with Terrans via the physical manifestation of the Life Tree, Soul Cage. Gaian souls rejected by the tree turned into mist that covers over the continent, which is now called the Mist Continent. The mist mutates the flora and fauna of the world into monsters, and Gaians engage in warfare. The Eidolon Alexander is summoned by the Kingdom of Alexandria from Gaia's crystal, but is deemed too powerful. He becomes contained in a gemstone that is divided into 4, and 1 is given to each kingdom: Limbum, Bermentia, Alexandria, and the village of summoners who ventured off the Mist Continent into the outer continent. These summoners established Madin Sari, and they researched the Eidolons, who are guardians of the world's crystal, and were spawned from it. War continues, but eventually the fighting slows. This angers Garland, who still needs Gaian's souls for Terrans to complete the fusion. He takes an adult genome with a mind of its own to instigate war. Kuja and the child genome he could manipulate when the time came is Zindane. He hoped one of them can enter trance, a surge of powerful emotions due to the ability to express complex feelings. Kuja is given a limited lifespan and sent to Gaia. Jealous, Kuja also brings Zindane to Gaia, and Garland is unable to locate Zindane. Moving forward, Garland fears the power of the Eidolons and tasks Kuja to destroy said Madin Sari using the Terran warship Invincible. Only 2 summoners survive: Sarah, who will be known as Princess Garnet, and Eiko, who is descendant of Yami. Zindane and friends pursue Kuja. They have to defeat 4 fiends of chaos that guard the entrance to Terra and also guard Garland himself, and they are encountered at the 4 shrines of the 4 elements. Through a series of events, Kuja kills Garland and destroys Terra during a fit of rage. Mist grows more intense and Memoria forms above the Life Tree. Memoria is a realm with a collection of the planet's memories that haven't returned to the Crystal World yet, waiting to be reborn. They travel through the void that leads to the Crystal World. They encounter the crystal of the universe from the beginning of time. Through a series of events, Kuja is defeated and the Life Tree collapses, signifying the successful merge of the 2 worlds, or Terra's crystal's death. This catastrophe caused the Crystal World and the Void to be exposed to this planet. In time, both Terran and Gaian lives cease to exist, and the souls return to the crystal instead of the Void, and the crystal returns to the Crystal World to become the source of new world crystals. Terra's red moon falls towards the planet and remains barren until the Crystal World spawns new deities from Yami, which is the new cosmos, and Yama, which is new chaos, freeing them from their imprisonment in the void. They are given the new crystals to shape this world, not born of the void, and an old world that is in need of world crystals. So as a recap for part 4, we have the introduction of Final Fantasy III and this idea of these floods of light and darkness that ultimately cause the destruction of their world, and only a few survive, namely the person that will be called the creator in Final Fantasy IV, who I believe to be Owen of Final Fantasy III, which was a scientist that created these crystals to study evolution. And what he did is that he gave them mainly to the world of Final Fantasy II and the world of Final Fantasy IV, one being the new moon, or the second moon, and then one being the blue planet. In these worlds, we have, if you remember back from part 2, if I remember correctly, last part. Part 3, in which we introduced Final Fantasy II, an idea that their world they purposely destroyed, and they ended up being reborn onto the world of Final Fantasy IV, but people are already there. So again, thinking, there's great power difference between us, we should wait for them to catch up, let's go to sleep, let them do their thing. They have crystals, we have crystals, don't know where they really came from, but they're there. So they go to sleep, and of course one of the Lunarians want to take over that world, and they have to end up sealing him, and now you have Luya and Viosa. One's watching Lunarian sleep, one has to watch the humans of the blue planet while trying to keep Zemus and Giant Babel at bay. So in Final Fantasy IV, we have this concept of these 16 crystals, where 8 are on the planet, 8 are on the moon. The 8 on the planet are used to seal Zemus, or the Giant of Babel, and the 8 on the moon are just, kind of there. And in the end, though, we have the destruction of the moon crystals, and we're only left with the 8 crystals, again, that were on the blue planet. And so these crystals are used to form a moon crystal and a world crystal for both the planet, or both the blue planet and the red moon. And this leads into Final Fantasy IX, where you get the creation of Gaia and Terra, and how Terra is, since it's the world of Final Fantasy II, is way much older than the world of Final Fantasy IV. The Terrans will try to merge with the Gaians, and they create this whole mess, and like it, messes up the cycle that Heidelene had established all the way back from part one video. And now we have the creation of Final Fantasy 13, in which it wasn't born from the void. Everything that died on the planet went back straight to the crystal, went to the crystal world, and not to the void, like how the Big Bang thing is supposed to happen. So now we have Yami and Yama, who were sent to the void, are now become this god and goddess that are given all these crystals to help build up the world that will become Final Fantasy 13, and also another world that will be introduced in the final part of my video, and that will cover Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 8, and Final Fantasy 15. So leave any comments below, like, subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts, and I can't wait to get to part 5. And I'll also include a part 6 in which I will literally have a summary of everything, connecting all the timelines in chronological order, and some other overall concept and ideas I have about Cosmos, Chaos, how the worlds are made, and everything that I've thought about when I was trying to connect through the games. In that video, for those who haven't played Final Fantasy, all the Final Fantasy games, can enjoy just looking at how these games seem to be connected without going into the backgrounds of the games, and going into the ending of the games and how I thought the games ended, and meshing at the ideas of how the games actually ended. So there's less spoilers. So stick around for part 6 as well. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys next time.